Hello everyone, I am Nghi, and today I will be presenting on sensory marketing chapter 5, the sensory principle for smell. And now let's dive into the first introduction. So I'd like to address the power of smell in marketing. So smell is more than just a sense, it's very emotional. It helps people form memories and affects how we feel or act. That is our emotion and behavior. So marketers or brands can use this as an advantage. A good smell can make you buy more or feel more connected to a brand. So the cues that we perceive about smell is called olfactory cues, and these are proven to be very powerful marketing tools. And next, the human nose. About the human nose, this part of the this organ is the part that receives smell, right? There's a very fun fact that we start smelling before even before we were born at 12 weeks because the smell was developed in the womb, and it adds 80% to also taste perception. This means that without like if we don't smell like drinking like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, the taste wouldn't be the same anymore. So smell and taste go hand in hand together to create a full like sensory experience for us. And in addition to that, scent can also change our behavior without us even noticing. It can unconsciously trigger our emotion and behavior. So that's mean that we are unconsciously smelling things and changing our behavior and emotions. For example, when you walk into a bakery, we smell like the very soothing and comfortable smell of freshly baked goods. We immediately relax ourselves without us even noticing it. We don't intentionally relax our body. It's because of the smell that we are unconsciously perceiving. And next, I would like to address about the mechanism of smell. How does smells work? So there are two aspects of how it works. The first aspect is the physiology of smell. So our nose is a very powerful detector with millions of sense cells. It's about 5 million cells, and it can detect more than 1 trillion scents. It's very incredible for our nose and our cells. And although smells is slower than sight, our visions, it lingers longer in our brain. Also, mixing two smells creates something totally new because smell is a synthetic sense. This means that when you mix two smells together, your brain doesn't smell them as two separate things, and it creates a completely new smell. For example, if you mix the smell of chocolate and the smell of licorice, you won't smell both at once. Instead, your brain creates a scent that is different from either one. So it's kind of like mixing color. It's mixing blue and yellow paint, and you get green, not blue and yellow, right? And another point is that genes and facial nerves affect how we smell. Um, like our genes determine which smell receptors we have. This means that two people can smell the same thing but experience it differently, and we won't know. And also, smell is connected to the trigeminal nerve. This nerve also pick up pain and touch and temperature in the face. So that's why some smell don't have a scent. They feel like cold. And they have a sensation of cold, like when we smell mint, we feel cold in our face, and like when we smell chili we feel hot in the face, or even like stingy feeling like ammonia. So smell is not just about your nose, about how your body feels the scent. And this is very interesting to me because didn't know that smells can work together with like the facial expression. So that is how smells work physiologically. So in the psychology aspect, smell is also very interesting. So smell affects us right away. We don't think, we just react to the smell. They are also tied to our memories. A certain smell can bring back your grandma's house when you're young, when you're in your childhood, or a happy holiday. And this is known as the Proust phenomenon, or the Proust effect. So when a smell instantly brings back a forgotten and emotional memory. Proust is the name of a very famous novelist. He had like his whole name is Marcel Proust, and in his novel, In Search of Lost Time, is a very famous novel. Proust recounts how the taste of a Madeleine cake dipped in tea evoked a flood of childhood memories. This is a very powerful emotional flashback trigger without warning. So he just smell the taste, and he just smell like the smell of Madeleine cake, and it immediately reminds him of his childhood day. In Bruce's novel, the scent and taste of a Madeleine trigger a flood of childhood memories, illustrating how smell can evoke deep emotional recollections. And this reflects how our brains links the scent directly to memory and emotion through the limbic system in our brain. That's why scent is such like a strong marketing tool. It taps into deep emotional memory and helps brands become more memorable. It can also boost our mood and our thinking and our work, and it can be very useful when we know how to leverage smell. The next thing is about smell in culture, in memory, in individual preferences. So we each have a unique like scent identity. What smells good to one person might be awful to another, depending on the culture or personal memories. For example, some people might like in Western country, most Western people don't like the smell of durian, but in our country, in Vietnam or in Asian country, we think pleasantly of durian. We think it is the king fruit, and we sell it at a very high price because of that. But if we ask a Western person, they would not like have like the same reaction to durian like us. And also, gender and age also affect on how we perceive a smell. For example, women tend to smell better than men, and this can also shift with our age and our mood too. Our mood can also like affect how we perceive a smell. The next the next part is about the symbolism of smell. So uh, So there's a concept about tip of the nose. So it's often difficult for people to name or describe a scent, even if they clearly recognize it. This shows that the smell is harder to verbalize compared to other senses like sight or hearing. So I also mentioned about the root phenomenon, and we'll briefly go through this. So a specific smell can suddenly bring back intense and emotional memory from the past, oftentimes childhood ones. So this makes sense a very powerful trigger for brain recall and emotional connection. So smell symbolism means that smell carry cultural, emotional, and social meaning. For example, vanilla often symbolize comfort, warmth, and the feeling of safety, while citrus like orange, lemon, and lime may signal cleanliness. So this is citrus, like the sense of citrus, is often used in spa or in beauty centers because it can signals like a sense of cleanliness for the customer, and these association may be used by brands to shape consumer perception. And lastly, smell works subtly, which means that smells is a silence influencer. It is processed unconsciously, and it can influence mood and behavior without people realizing it, earning the nickname that the smell is a secret seducer in marketing. And in service, applying scent to service is also very interesting. Service places can use smell to set the mood and enhance the overall customer experience. For example, a Western hotel. I believe is in the US. They use a very consistent white tea signature scent in all of their lobbies, which give the guests an immediate feeling of calm, cleanliness, and luxury as they walked in. And similarly, Las Vegas casinos have been shown to pump in very light floral or citrus scents to encourage visitors to gamble longer. They want the customer to stay longer, so they use these kind of scents to make them feel more comfortable, and they would spend more time there. They carefully choose an ambient scents and are not tied to any specific product, but instead create a very pleasant atmosphere that makes people want to stay longer. This is how scent plays a silent yet powerful role in shaping customer perception and behavior in service environment. And the next part is about the sense fit and concurrence fit. So not every good sense work every time. So the sense must make sense in the specific environment. So this is called sense concurrence. So for example, a flower shop, a florist should smell like fresh flowers, should smell like fresh blooms, and a cafe should smell like coffee. So if you walk into a bakery and it smells like cleaning detergent instead of bread or baked goods, you might lose your appetite and question the quality of this bakery. And research shows that concurrent scents, those that naturally fit the setting, makes people feel more comfortable. They will stay longer and rate the experience more positively. On the other hand, inconcurrent scents, like for example, lavender smell in a car showroom can create confusions or distrust. Scent fits also reinforces brand values. Think of like a spa that smell like I don't know. I smell like coffee or cigarettes to promote cleanliness and wellness of the customer. So it's not just about using a pleasant scent, it's about using the right scent in the right place to support what the brand stands for, the brand value, the brand image. And that is scent in service, and all the scent is also applying to products and branding. Scents can define a product, can be a core part of it, like for example perfume, essential oils, or air fresheners. But even products not focused on smell, like cars, shoes, or electronics, can use scent as an emotional add-on. For example, the new car smell isn't just a side effect, it's engineered to give customer like a feeling of freshness and value. And brands can also use it in packaging or advertising to strengthen the brand identity. It's just like a logo or jingle. Scent is equivalent to like a logo or the color of the brand. So take Singapore Airlines and their very unique scent of Stephen Florida water scent. The image on the slide here is it's not just a smell, it's a emotional anchor. Customers smell it and instantly recall the luxurious and warm experience flying with Singapore Airlines. So signature scents are a form of emotional branding. They help make a brand more like memorable and more emotionally resonant with them and more uniquely identifiable also. So that is the end of chapter 5. I want to sum up with some takeaways. So the first takeaway is that scent is a very deep emotional sense with strong marketing power. A lot of brands can use scents at a store to strengthen the brand image. And scents work through three aspects. physiology, like how we perceive the smell through our nose, psychology, which means that we have like different perception towards each kind of sense in culture too. People in different cultures views specific sense differently. And sense can enhance services, brand experience, and lastly, even though most of the time we smell something unconsciously, but even though it might feel invisible, but smell is a very strong tool, and it is because it is unforgettable. So next, I would like to present about the chapter 6 of sensory marketing. It's on the topic of sensory principle for touch. So first, I'll have like a little introduction about touch in sensory marketing. So touch is plays a very vital role in how we perceive brands and products. It's not just like a physical contact. It can help how we feel about a product or a brand, and it can affect our emotions, our cognition, how do we think, and our purchase decisions. So it helps us evaluate the quality of the product, the service, and even leads to impulsive purchases. So in digital environments, we lose this sensory connection, which is especially important for things like clothes and furniture. And this poses a very big challenge in today's day and age. Um, and next, we will discover how humans experience touch, like the physiological aspect of how touch works, right? Touch is the very first sense that we develop even before we're born. Um, it is like the first ever sense to develop, like through our skin. So this tells us how important it is for survival and connection. Touch is a very fundamental sense. The skin, especially our fingertips, is full of receptors. The skin receptors that picks up tiny differences in temperature and softness or weight. For example, think of how we use our hand to feel whether a fruit is ripe. Um, there are two kinds of touch. Active touch, like when you run your hand over a product to explore, and passive touch, when you are touched without initiating it, like sitting on a soft chair is passive touch. So active touching gives us more detailed information and makes us feel more engaged with the product. Also, touch is not just skin deep. Our muscles and joints help us know the shape, the size, and the resistance of objects. That's why lifting a phone feels like different from lifting a heavy mug. Even with our eyes closed, we can feel the difference. So um, it simply means that the like our bones, our muscle also contributes to our touch sensory. It's like they like the example of a phone in a cup, a mug. We even with our eyes closed, you can tell the difference between a phone and mug with touching, with like lifting it, right? Um, that is the physiological aspect of touch. And next is about the psychological side of touch. So touch just doesn't tell us what something feels like. It doesn't just tell us what it feels like. It helps us remember and emotionally connect with the object. That's why we feel like a brand new phone or the softness of a favorite hoodie can stick in our mind longer. And there are two key types of touch, hedonic and instrumental. So hedonic touch is all about enjoyment and exploration. Think of someone like stroking a soft blanket at a store, not necessarily like intending to buy, just enjoying the sensation of the softness. This kind of touch helps us build emotional attachment to a brand. And instrumental touch is more goal directed. It's like active touch. It happens when you squeeze like a tomato to take the ripeness, or press down a mattress when you buy mattress, right? To feel the firmness of to test the firmness of the mattress. It's about collecting information and to support a decision to buy. So in marketing, both are very important. A shopper might first enjoy the texture of the object, that is hedonic touch. Then they can evaluate the product's feature. That is when instrumental touch step in. So that works together, and these can lead to a purchase. So study shows that even a brief touch can improve product perception. The simple act of holding a product increases the psychological ownership. People feels like it's theirs already. It's their product already, and that makes them more likely to buy the product. So another aspect to consider is the individual and cultural differences in touch. Um, some people really need to touch things to feel confident. This is called high need in touch, and women often enjoy the emotional feel of touch, while men may focus more on function. So touch also differs culturally. Think of the greeting styles by country. In Japan, we bow with each other to signal greeting. In Western country, we shake our hands, and in New Zealand, we touch our forehead. Um, mm, symbolically, it expresses a belonging or distance. And these kind of touch can convey warmth, love, and connections, or even coldness. It can convey our emotion. Uh, Also, touch when applied in service marketing is also very interesting to me. So store aren't just about visuals; they create a full body experience. So touch, that is when touch steps in. So feeling the smoothness of the marble floors or the soft blanket can boost our sensory pleasure. That's why store with touch-friendly layouts see more like spontaneous purchases. When we shop online, we can only see the product, not feel the products, and that's a gap for tactile shoppers. A strong example of service that emphasize touch is Muji, the Japanese lifestyle brand. So their store are carefully created to encourage customer to feel the softness of clothes. The clothes are like displayed all out. There's no barrier for the customer to touch the clothes or even the beddings or the chairs or the table. Everything is exposed. So try the texture of the stationery or sit on the furniture is encouraged. Everything is arranged for exploration through touch. So aligning with the minimalist mindset, sensory-driven brand identity. So this experience deepens the customer emotional connection and increase the likelihood of purchase. So just walking into the Muji store and like feeling the softness of a blanket makes me really want to buy it, even though it's very high price. And another thing is also very interesting in service is being touched by others. So touch is not just about us touching, but it's also about staff. The staff matter. So it can be interpersonal touch. This can enhance trust and brand perception. So, a light touch on the arm from the helpful staff member can make us feel more welcome and feel more comfortable. Study shows that this small interaction can often increase spending and more store satisfaction. But cultural and gender norms can affect how it's perceived, so we must be careful. Um, like think of when the staff want to help you and they signal their help by touch a little touch on the arm. You can feel very you can feel that you are being in a very safe environment and you feel comfortable around them. That is the power of touch in service in customer service. And similarly, touch is also very important in branding and product design. How a product feels is a part of the brand. So think of the like Apple's iPhone. They have very sleek design. They have very the corners are very sharp, or the curve of the Coca-Cola bottle. They are not just random accident, random design. They are carefully created design. Consumer evaluate product quality through the feel, so this can be fully replaced online. So for touch-heavy products, feedback is key. So meaning that purchase decision are often dependent on actual touch, not virtual and digital evaluation. So that emphasized the importance of real touch rather than just our visual evaluation of the product. And another very interesting point is that visions and touch, they work together very in harmony. So we usually see before we touch. The vision would give the overview, but touch would confirm the quality. So using cues like store that use cues like touch me or sound invitation can see more people interact with products. Even like the packaging texture, like rough or smooth, can send signals about quality. So it is important for us to choose the right textures for the packaging or in the spatial design. That really matters a lot in service. And that wraps up my chapter on my presentation on chapter 6. And I would like to address three main takeaways. So touch also shape how we think cognitively, how we feel emotionally, and how we purchase. It can enhance our purchase decisions, and it can create emotional bonds and product trust towards the brand. And tactile strategy can boost sales and brand perception. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.